Hey guys, what's up? It's Cody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I appreciate you joining me for this special video. I am going to do my best to recount some of my best dirty adult videos that I recorded a number of years ago. So bear with me, it was a long time ago and I'm going to do my very best to give you details about what it was like filming these scenes back then that are still so popular, not like popular to everyone, but that I still get so much feedback on to this day. So I decided to take a poll on Instagram and Twitter, and I asked all of you what films that I've done that you wanted to know about. What kind of questions did you have? What were your favorite scenes? Who are your favorite scene partners that I worked with? And I rounded up the responses, and I decided that I'm going to make I'm going to record my response in 4 parts. And the first part today is going to be melon balls, where I'm going to talk about the particular scene, melon balls, that I filmed with at Next Door Studios with Elijah White, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about the other films I filmed at Next Door during that time, just kind of like that whole trip, because it was like a 3-day weekend that was condensed into 3 films, and I think that that there was more than one DVD that came out of it, but this, you can't see my face because I'm busy sucking dick right there, but this is one of them. This is the one I have, and if you want it, which my face is in here, let's see if I can, then hit me up and I'll sign it and I will send it to you. What use do I have for this, right? So anyways, so the first one is going to be melon balls. The second one, which I got like a lot of feedback from, and I knew like this was actually the first one that came to mind when I thought about making these videos, is the scene with Roxy Red that I did at Helix. And kind of just surprising that the one that I heard the most back from was not a Helix video. It was the melon balls. That one seems to be the one that people remember the most, or have like they enjoy recounting that one with me, and DMs and like tweets and such the most. The third video that I'm going to make is going to be about Drake Angel and the scenes that we filmed. We filmed not only with Helix but with Boy's First Time. It was he was my boyfriend at one point when we were filming. We filmed more than one scene, so I mean, there's a lot of story to tell there, and that was also one of one of my partners slash scenes slash films that got the most feedback, that people, it was a fan favorite. And then lastly, the fourth segment is going to be about Tommy Anders. And I never filmed with Tommy Anders, and that's what the video is going to be about. I'm going to talk about why I never filmed with Tommy. It definitely came up. We were in at Helix around the same time, and I just wanted to, spill the tea, as they now say, on what happened then. So let's get started. Melon balls. I had photos lying around here too because I printed them out for fans. Yeah, that was a very, very interesting weekend. A fun weekend. Let's see. I think that, because I filmed 3 scenes for Next Door Studios that week. One is the one that you see pictured here on the cover. Now that is I forgot his name, Nick Reeves. Okay, and so Nick Reeves, and then there's Elijah White. And this, I believe, may have been the first scene. It's called Passion for Splashin'. Now, obviously, we filmed it at the Next Door Mansion in Oakland, California, and this is not my first pool scene. One of my very first Helix Studio scenes I filmed in a pool too, and I have to say, I have always struggled having sex in water. When I was younger, it was a lot easier, but I do remember it being a struggle on this day filming. It was just we just started off in the pool, but then we had sex like in lawn chairs, and it just found it to be extremely difficult in the heat with all the cameras. Because the way that Nextdoor shoots, they've got like a big team going, with what you would think of as a set. So you've got lighting people, and you got a sound person, you got multiple cameras. So there's like a little team. My time at Helix was much more personal. I mean, there was one guy with one camera in your setup in your room or wherever on location, wherever you were, and it was a lot easier to perform that way. So Splashin' for Passion was also with Elijah. That was our first go round, and it also funny little fun fact. It's on a DVD. This DVD here. It's called Cream Filled Twink. There was never any twink that got filled ever. Like condoms all the way through. All of Nextdoor Studios stuff is condoms, and so I'm just wondering where they got that from. It's a little misleading. Anyway, so Melon Balls was the second time that I filmed with Tyler. Okay, everyone knows his name is Tyler. So is the second the second scene I filmed with Tyler on my trip to Oakland, and I'll be honest, I was not the biggest fan of him at first, and he was just I'm pretty sure that was, I know that was the first time we met each other. I can't remember if we had, through the grapevine, we had like mutual friends, but I remember there was like some sort of familiarity that we had at the beginning, whether it was just like knowing about each other online or whatever, but it was the first time we met, and I remember him driving me crazy because he was on the phone, and everyone, by the way, everyone at Nextdoor, like a lot of the staff was getting really irritated with him. A lot of people were complaining about him because he was on the phone the whole time, arguing with his boyfriend, like in front of everyone. Like we were on the way. I think we were on the way back from the airport. We're in this like SUV. We're in this minivan with these models that got picked up, myself, Elijah, the driver, and he's just on the phone, just straight up going and going and going, just no regard for anyone else. And I just remember being like, oh my God, I have to work with this kid. He's already getting on my nerves. And so, that day, like I wasn't, just be honest, Nick was not really my type. Tyler, he was like, he's like one of my types. Like I'm definitely attracted to him, but like his personality was really, really, really not fun to be around. So he was totally self-absorbed and into his own drama, that, of course. And then I just was trying to like hear it out. The first one got done, Melon Balls. Now, Melon Balls, that was like our second day together. He was I remember being a little bit more into the scene, maybe because it was just the both of us. We didn't have that third wheel kind of dynamic going on. And I remember him being, I remember like us, like it was more believable. I felt like our interaction was like, I kind of find the words. Like he seemed like he was into it, and I got into it, and there was like that. A lot of times when you're filming, there's like a forced chemistry. There's like where you're like acting like you're really into the person, so that way it comes across on camera like real and like natural. When you can feel, sometimes you can both feel that it's a put on. So this has nothing to do with that day because I didn't know this at the time, but I remember feeling like it was a little bit more natural. Now, down the road, I'm just going to say it. I'm like so bad. This is so bad. You're not supposed to kiss and tell. But Tyler and I Elijah, Tyler, whatever, we totally like got together and we had like a banging time. Like a banging time. So there was something there, like eventually. So just at this point, I was not a fan, like at all. So, melon balls. They come to us with this idea. Like, I had no idea. I did not know what I was signing up for. I didn't know that I would had I had this scene with this watermelon until I got into Oakland, and they handed me, like, the studio was really organized. So they handed me this itinerary with with my scenes, and Helix was kind of more so like, okay, we have you, and here's this room, and you're going to be wearing, it's a soccer theme, and you guys are just going to ad-lib it and just get to the sex as quick as possible. No, there was like more to it with Next Door. There wasn't exactly a script, but they had like more of a storyline that they were going with. So they asked me if I'm okay with a watermelon, and I thought it was actually kind of like a good idea. Now looking back, like, to say that I fucked watermelon is kind of weird, like, in context, depending on the context. I've never had any other sex with any type of food or fruit or anything like that. I've never had any American Pie moment. So I'm glad that I could share this experience with Tyler. But yeah, so it was all shot outside, and so they carved the hole into the melon, and it's funny because, like, I had a PA at the time, and I remember it was kind of like difficult for like me to like really get any sensation out of the watermelon, because like all I could feel was like this, like my jewelry kind of like weighing things down and getting in the way, and it was like, it was just kind of hard. Now, Tyler and I had the same girth about, I would say, so it kind of like made it easy, one hole fit all. And it was kind of fun. I do not know what happened with that watermelon that day afterwards. I think it was just disposed of. Sorry, you guys. I've got that question a couple of times. Like, did you eat it afterwards? No, we didn't eat it. Like, oh my god. So that scene, that was a difficult scene to film because, like I said, all outside, and this was my second outside shoot. During 2 out of 3 were outside, and we were filming on like a ledge. I wish, do I have a picture? No, I don't. But like, it was basically like a brick ledge that we're filming on, and we had like a blanket or something set up, and I remember it was just like knees were hurting. It was hot. It was hard to keep it up. But like I said, Tyler did make it easy. He was a good scene partner. He was good as a working porn actor. Let's see. Oh god, there's I don't want to like say anything that's really like, okay, so there's like something that comes to mind, which is like it's like something that happens to when you're like having sex with a gay person. Sometimes things aren't ready down there, and there was a moment like that, if you catch my drift. And then another thing that happened. So I'm just going to like conclude with why I never worked for Next Door again, which I never got a definite reason to, because the owner, Steven, he seemed to really like me. He explained to me how people get exclusives and what they're looking for, and just basically the payout line. And a couple things happened. So I remember the day that I was shooting Melon Balls. They asked me if I would take out my PA, my Prince Albert, my dick piercing. And I said no. Now, the way that they asked me, they made it seem like whatever I felt was totally fine. Like, it was totally up to me. Like, it wasn't going to be like a casting issue. They didn't say if Elijah Tyler was having a problem with me having it in, if he didn't like it, or what the case may be. But they asked me to take it out, and I said no. Now, the reason why, to be honest, I didn't want to take out the ring because I wanted to film with the ring in, because I wanted that to be part of my image And Helix wouldn't allow me to film with the piercing in because they said it wasn't part of the brand. Which I was like, okay, fine. I was fine with it at that point. And also, the ring was really new then. The reason, and the second reason why I didn't take out the ring when I was filming the scene with Next Door is because I had to go. The piercing became a problem numerous times. So when I had to go to a piercer, I guess is what you call it, and because a second time, because once I got my PA re-pierced because the hole closed from the Helix days. I took it out. I put it back in right before I started filming for Next Door, not knowing I was going to film for Next Door. I hadn't filmed in quite some time. But then when the piercer put the jewelry on, the ball was not tight enough. It was spinning, and it would come off. So I went back into the guy who pierced it, and he clamped it closed, right? So it wouldn't like come off, because you don't want that thing coming off in your urethra. Oh God, it was just like a mess. So he clamped it too tight where I couldn't get the ball off. So the actual reason why I couldn't take off the ring is because I could not actually get it undone. And if I had gone through the measures to get it done with maybe I'm not like a handyman. I don't know the tool, but like, a clamp, something to unclamp it, I wouldn't have been able to wear it. I would have had to get new jewelry. And so, boom. I think that's one reason why I never worked with them again. The second reason is probably because they gave special instructions to me and everyone, I guess, to not trim or shave your body hair up to like a week or two. I forgot what the time frame was, but like up until the day of shooting and after, like, do not trim or touch your body hair. Let it be as as grown out as it possibly can be. They want a natural look. That's part of their brand. I did not listen. I did my own thing. I was like, so I kept my hair like I always, like how I like it and how I want, I'm sorry, like I didn't know what we're going to be doing. If someone's going to be spreading my ass, I'm not going to have a hairy asshole on the internet. Like, that's just not what I'm going to do. That's not happening. So I shaved my balls, kept the hair up top, like, I don't know, it was clean. I'm hairless anyways. I don't know what they think they would be getting. But that's my second idea for the reason why I didn't end up working for them again. And the third, and in conclusion, is the third day I was shooting at Next Door, which was the worst. Before I go into the story of why it was the worst, I just want to say it has nothing to do with Next Door. The people at Next Door were great. I remember there was this trans girl, Bambiana, who went on to do work in television, and she was a makeup artist, and she still lives in San Francisco and does lots of shows. She did porn as, I think, a male, and then maybe trans porn, and then now she's like this, she has a lot of success. She was super duper sweet. I remember I met Cody Cummings, no comment. All of the staff was extremely, extremely nice and gracious, accommodating. They were really, really great. The other models that I met there were fun, and I had a memorable time and a great experience and memory from that. But the last day of filming was terrible for me. And it's funny, looking back, it's one of my maybe that's what makes it more memorable for me, actually. A lot of the good scenes that are out there of me on the internet, like, I don't really remember them as clearly as I do this one. And I remember this scene even favorably, even though I also consider it the most, one of the worst. Or it was just a very difficult scene to film. I was originally, I never agreed to bottom in any of the scenes for Next Door. I was a top in all of them, and so I had a dollar amount that I had agreed upon. And I sent a text to someone asking what one of these models' names that I worked with. His name was Corey Jacobs, really sweet kid. I did not work with him, sadly. I wanted to when I was there, but he was there. He was one of the ones that I met. And anyways, back to the last day of filming. So it's this three-way, and it's between Mike King, Elijah, and I. And as far as I know, I'm supposed to fuck both of them they're supposed to fuck each other, something like that. Well, what ends up happening is all I remember is they both fucked me. Because just like the previous days before, I had a difficult time getting it up and keeping it up. I couldn't perform. And this day was the worst because so this one we're filming, it was called, I wrote down the name of it. Dream Lover. I think this one was Dream Lover. And I don't think it's pictured. Yeah, it's not even pictured in this DVD. So I'm obviously on more than one Next Door Studio DVD. But in Dream Lover, we it's like this, like it's this an imagine it's like this. I'm texting with Elijah, right? This is like the story, and then we're in this fantasy, right? And like the scene takes place in our fantasy minds, and we're having this three-way with Mike King, who is king, king size, if you know what I mean. And like first of all, like Elijah was a fun scene partner. It like he can get you going. He's fun sexually. His personality eventually down the road, we're friends now. Almost 8 years later. And we've had a very tumultuous friendship, but we are friends. And I got to know him a lot more throughout the years. He's got a close friend. We share a close friend, and so that keeps our ties close. I still talk with Mike King, and then just like a little inside story, I had such a crush on Mike King. Like, he is absolutely adorable in real life. He is kind of like my ideal guy. He's very tall. My dream guy isn't thin per se, but like he just had this, like he does like karate or something like that, and he just had this like great body, and he has this childlike personality which doesn't come across at all on film. And he was I'm guessing he's maybe like a Virgo or something. He just has this innocence, and he's super duper sweet, and he's super duper taken, and he has been. He's got the same boyfriend now that he had then. And I was like, oh, can we just, but really liked him. And in the end, they both tag teamed me because I couldn't keep it up long enough to film. And that is my third theory for why I never worked for Next Door again, is because I just wasn't on my A game performing wise. And if I didn't prematurely ejaculate in this scene, I can think of one other that I really did that I was also having a rough go with, and that was with Tristan Summers, I think his name was. Oh, maybe I'll add a fifth segment to talk about that scene because it was so. There's a lot of story there, and that was for alternate dudes. In case of you guys who want to do a little bit of a web dive and look back at that scene and give me some feedback if you want to hear about that one. So, anyways, that was my Melon Balls recap. Melon Balls, still love that name, and people still send me watermelon like emojis and make watermelon references to me to this day. And thanks, you guys have made it a fun memory for me one I will never forget about. I actually just got rid of that tank top that I wore in that scene. Thank you so much to my good online friend. I think that you live in the Netherlands, Rudd, if you're watching this, which I'm pretty sure you will. Anyways, that's enough for this video. I will see you in the next one where I will talk about Roxy Red and spill the tea there. All right, I love you guys so much. See you in the next one. Have a great week. Bye.